Okay, everyone, welcome back to What's Your Mess with Tracy D. Armstrong. And today we have another special guest coming to share what their mess was in their lives. We have MsUnderstood, Adrienne. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Adrienne.
Well, I will say that I grew up, as they would say, privileged, and then I guess always pushed the system. I was always one that wanted to bump heads with, okay, but we should do this, but why? Okay, we should do it like this, but why? Okay, we should do it like this, but why? So I ended up in my but why for a very long time. And I had to realize all of the but whys was because it's better this way, because it's easier this way, because it won't be so hard this way. So who am I? I am all of those things, but I can rest on the fact that I am a Proverbs 22:6 child. Raise up a child in the way that they should go. That
Mm.
way, when they do go far, they will not depart from. And now I am back with everything that I've learned from out there,
Hmm.
dedicated to give it all back so that we can honor our creator, so that we can honor the one who made us. That's
Okay,
who I am
awesome.
in the whole. Like, if you put me up, I'm an
Awesome.
author. What do you say? Like, I'm an author, I'm a CEO, but there's a lot of, today I'm sitting in a place where I can say I'm all of these things. But who am I? I'm just a child of God, trying to be some light and some darkness. That's
Mm.
who I
And so that's what you just said. You said that's where you are now. That's where you are today. But I know that you haven't always been at that point right now where you are today, the author, the CEO, the child of, you've always been a child of God, of course. However, I know that there's some mess that has gone on in your life that has caused mental, emotional, and social status of life not to be the best that it is or the best that it could be. So could you tell listeners a little bit about what's your mess?
am. What's my mess? Where can I begin? Let's say at one time I divvied in the exotic entertainment industry. We'll put it that way. Because I
Okay.
was checked a while ago when I first started coming out with my story, talking about I was a stripper, and then the girl was like, we don't be stripping, we are exotic entertainment. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take that because that's right. It is a craft, it's a skill, and it's more than just taking your clothes off. So I divvied in the exotic entertainment industry. I was actually really good. I actually enjoyed it. But God actually told me no. They will know you, but not like that.
Mm.
There's more for you in your life, and I need them to see the more of you in your life. And here in this exotic entertainment world, they won't see it the way that I intended it. So I I basically, I mean, I got sick. I call that my reprimand from God. But me getting sick was what stopped everything. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which then, completely gave me a whole 360 life change. I went from wearing stilettos to walking with a walker. You know what I mean? So it was, yeah, it was life altering. But then it was like, well, what are you going to do? You're not dead. And God said that they would know you. So that means that there's got to be more than this right here. That's one of my big ones. And then another, I would just say, I just always like to bump my head. I bump my head a lot. I
Mhm.
fell in love with the wrong guy, put it that
Mhm.
way, for a long time, which gave me a lot of mess because
Mm.
half the time I was lying to myself about, not wanting to cry about this, trying to make this relationship look so great. But really I was crying on the inside. And when you're not right on the inside, you have a hard time showing up in places where you're supposed to be, and that was I want to say that's what molded me to become the person that I am today. All of those, almost theirs and bump your heads because of, or that self-sabotager that just tells us we shouldn't be in this room right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
back out because this is not where we're supposed to be. Like, so those were the things that I used to be. Like, that's who I was.
Okay, so you just unpacked several messes right there. So I want to go back. Okay, I want to go back. I want to go back to you were in the exotic entertainment industry and you got sick. And so therefore you were not able to do what you had been doing. So let's start there. How did that affect you mentally when you found out or when you got sick?
Well, first and foremost, I didn't even know what multiple sclerosis was. Okay, let's be all the way honest. I was trying to figure out what they were talking about. I just knew that something in my body wasn't right. You know how well I'm a 77 baby. So, we used to make fun of the kid that was a little bit, like little head, big shoulders,
Yeah,
that
I'm
I kid.
78. I'm
You-
78, right there
So
with
you
you.
understand.
Okay.
So you understand the little short bus kids and all that, like things that people used to say, don't laugh at that because you're gonna have kids and they're gonna end up like that. That kind of stuff. So when I started having my moment where I was like, I was like, oh no, something's wrong. Like, did you see that? Oh, okay, something wrong. I'm going to the doctor. So as I continued to go to the doctor, because I knew something was wrong with me, because I ain't had no, scratch my shoulder, lick my eyeball type thing. I never had that, but that's what I was getting. That's how I realized something was wrong. So I basically camped out in the doctor's office, emergency rooms, everywhere, because I was trying to figure out something's wrong with me, y'all. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, you're fine. You're just so funny." And no, I'm not fine. I might be, but there's a moment like, no, there's a moment we got to figure it out. So when I finally went to the doctor and had one of those episodes in front of them, they all panicked. Everybody was in a rush. Everybody was like, "Oh God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" So my whole life was changed in that one moment because one, I didn't know what was wrong with me. Two, all I know is that everyone medically, like the people that were like nurses, doctors, when they heard that I had multiple sclerosis, they were so apologetic. Like, "I'm so sorry." And I used to be like, "What? Like, what are they so sorry about?" So I really had to hone in on what is this disease? What are they saying? Because it was affecting me, but it wasn't affecting me the way that they kept apologizing for me. Like, they were so apologetic. "Oh, I'm so sorry. There's nothing that they could do." And I'm thinking, well, damn, y'all make it seem like I'm about to die or something, and but when I realized that it was a debilitating disease, that when they look at it, they don't think better. But when they look at it, they don't think cure. When they look at it, they think, how can we make you as comfortable as you want to be? Because this is all you got. You're not going to get any better. This is it. And I, that was mentally too much. It was just mentally too much for me because I was like a social butterfly. I was everywhere. I wanted to be everywhere. I was like bubble, bubble, bubble. You blow, I'm bubble, and it was all taken away. Like, it was taken away. Like, I had to learn how to laugh again. I
Wow.
had to learn how to live again because it was like a constant pain. But I think that the worst part of it really was not being able to be the person that I thought that I was supposed to be. You know how you
Mm.
make this
Mhm.
mind up and you're like, okay, I'm going to be this person. I'm this. I'm socially. I'm going out to this party. I'm going here. I'm going here. None of that happened. None of that happened. Mentally, I wasn't prepared for any of that to happen. But that's exactly what it was. And that was mentally, I would say. And then I guess even if you wanted to throw the emotion into it.
Go ahead.
Emo- Emotionally, emotionally, I was spent. I always use the analogy of a butterfly and how you see a butterfly and we see the butterfly flutter and it might go up and down, but then it might go around, it might just disappear for a little bit. And then you'll see it again. And it was like I was a butterfly, but I was tied to a rock. So it wasn't like I was glued to the rock. Glued to the rock would mean that I wouldn't be able to move at all. But being tied to the rock is like you begin to fly and then you get snatched back down. You begin to flutter and then you get snatched back down. That's what it did for me.
Wow, that
That's what it
is a
was.
great analogy. Go ahead. Sorry.
That was my analogy because people used to always ask me after you get diagnosed, it's like one thing to have the diagnosis, but then it's another thing to have to carry the diagnosis. Because like I said, the people that knew medically what it was that I was dealing with, they brought so much demise to me. It was like, what's wrong with me? Like I remember going home and asked my mom, like, Mom, why do they keep saying they sorry like that? You know what I mean? Like there's something like my doctor, bless God for Dr. Burke, because Dr. Burke told me don't read WebMD. Do not go Google this disease. That's what he told me. Don't Google this disease because once you Google it, you'll literally be lost because you're going to hear everything. And that's what multiple sclerosis is all about. It affects everyone differently. So how it affects me, it might not affect your aunt that that you know that has it, or the girlfriend that you used to have. Like, so everyone is different. So as we sit and we talk about it, if I was to listen to everything that everybody was saying, I would be completely lost. So I bless God because He said, "Don't do it." But it was like everybody that would come to me and I'm so sorry. I'm so this. I'm like, what is wrong? Like, why? Like, so I started to want to know what is going on with my body. Like, and then when I realized it's a miscommunication between my brain and my body, you know, that's when I realized, oh, no wonder this is like a circling effect. So the day that my body feels like we are good, my brain is going to attack it because we're not supposed to be good, and vice versa. So the day that I say I want to walk this mile because I want to stand in unity with, people that are marching for Alzheimer's or cancer or whatever, and my body says that we're not picking up our right leg today. I'm not walking, so it's different. So emotionally, it really became, okay, I want to rock out with y'all, but I can't even rock out with y'all because, I don't move the same way y'all move. Like you might get in the car and be ready to roll, like you got heels on the back. Like in your back, it says a new pair of shoes can change your life. And I'm
Mm,
looking at the shoes thinking, yeah, they would change my whole life drastically because I used to be able to walk in them shoes. Now now I need a damn pair of sneakers.
right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
And that's what I was gonna say. That had to affect you socially because that kind of just ties right into the next point. So socially, like you say, if your brain was miscommunicating with your body, tell her how did that affect you socially, like your people, your surroundings?
Well, it's funny because most of my friends that I had before I got sick, I realized that they really weren't friends of mine. And it was real, it was enlightening to me because, to go out every day with people, to be so needed everywhere, to pull up on this person and pull up on this person and pull up on this person, and we have good times everywhere we go. To be in the hospital for like 2.5 weeks and not near one person show up. Whoa, whoa, wait a minute. What just happened? All of this life that I thought that I had, all of this living, all of these people, we was having so much good times. We was making money. I got sick. and they all disappeared. And it was like, I think the only people that I really had in my circle were my family. And that's the weirdest thing, because you think that out of all the people in your family, you think that, okay, like your family is your family. Yeah, that's just your family, they ain't your family, but your friends, they your friends, you rock out with your friends. When I realized that I had no friends, and the only people that was coming to sit with me and hang with me was my family, it was it was major. Okay, it was major. And I mean, it was so major that because of all of the different life changes that I was going through, it got me closer into the word. You know what I mean? Like I started reading the word more. So as I'm reading the word more, now I'm realizing, okay, I don't have anything to do with them anyway. You know what I mean? Like they on a whole different vibe than I'm on, because I'm thanking God that I'm alive. And like today, I can move my hands, I can move my legs, you know what I'm saying? I can move around. I might even give you a little dance or something. I might not be able to dance all night like I used to, but I can at least go out there and give you a dance. So to even have all of that happening, and I look back at the friends like of my circle,
Mm-hmm.
that circle is non-existent.
Right. I
I
feel
might
you.
I might have one or two people that call me out the blue, like, damn girl, I was just checking on you, you know what I mean, seeing how it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say that the one thing that I know that for a while, I think that was one of the hardest things. Because you think like socially you've made it. The people that are around, the people that surround you are the people that make you who you are. But when
Right.
I realized that they weren't real, I then had to start questioning, who am I? Am I real? And it was like, but they used to all like, I've had friends still to this day tell me that I was so strong. I was so, I was always the person that they came to for the help. I was always the person that they came to talk them off the edge. So
Mm.
for me to end up being the person that was sick, they didn't know
Yeah.
how to handle it. They didn't know how to handle it. So I have a lot of friends that felt bad for falling off, but they didn't know how to come to me because, we used to jumping in the car. Now I got a walker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
we
yeah.
used to push the whips. They like, how we gonna get you in the two-seater? Okay. All right. Maybe we'll see you when we get back. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you
Dang.
right. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
want to take my walker to the party because one, I gotta fold my walker up, put it in the trunk. When we get there, everybody want to jump out the car. We can't jump out the car because now we gotta pull up at the front, open the trunk, get my walker out, put me on the curb, waiting for you. Now we was. I told you I was an exotic entertainer. So just imagine the exotic entertainers coming to do the show, and I get out like a whole paraplegic. Like, what is she about to do? Like, what kind of party is this? So, needless to say, things change. They change. Things change a lot, And then I even boyfriends, like me getting closer to God, like broke up my relationship. Like I'll never forget the day that he dropped me off at the church. We just he went to the parking lot, and he was like, "I'm gonna just leave you here because you probably have a better chance. You know what I'm saying? You have a better chance in life here than you will with me." It hurt my heart, but
Mm-hmm.
I realized that one thing I do know is that the devil is real,
Hmm.
and the devil used to be an angel. So the one thing the devil does know not to do is to mess with God's children. Got
Mm-hmm.
me? So as I was lying and trying to stick into keep this relationship alive, he was like, yo, bro. I'm not playing with God. I'm gonna leave you in this church where you belong, and we will figure this out another way. But we ain't gonna do it together because I can see right now where I'm going is this way, and where you going is that way. And that was a choice.
Mhm.
I hated it. I hated that choice, but he made it, and I'll never forget.
Mhm.
He took me to the parking lot of the church and said, "I'm gonna leave you here. You'd be better off here than with me."
So that right there, so I don't even have to ask that because that right there, I know affected your status of living. Like you saying that from going from an exotic entertainer, having all these friends, I'm listening and I'm feeling every word you're saying. Getting sick, now your friends are falling off, your relationships not hanging in there, emotionally torn, mentally not understanding what the heck is happening. And you just said he dropped you off at the church. Now, we're gonna go into how you cleaned up your mess, but I think you kind of getting there anyways, because how I'm trying to picture this. If you got the relationship you were in, the dude dropped you off at the church and said you would do better at the church than you would with me. Was that a pivotal moment that kind of started to clean up the mess that you was going through at that moment? Or tell everybody what happened from there.
I don't know if I cleaned it up, but I
Okay.
definitely know I definitely know it was a big punch in the mouth.
Okay.
Okay, it was the biggest punch in the mouth of all because I was lying. I had this idea of all these things that I thought that I was. It was everything that the drug dealer, the drug dealer boyfriend, get what you want. You live the flashy high life and all that, but it wasn't me. So what hurt the most was the reality set in.
Mm,
And like I said, just like with my friends, when all that other stuff falls apart, the only thing you have left is your family. The only people that check on you are your cousins. You know what I mean? Like they're the people that you originally started with. Like they are your lineage, they are your line. And it was hard for me because I tried to do everything outside of my family. Like I didn't need to do what my family did because I did this. But when I realized that all of this was not even real, it was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? So of course I resorted back to what I knew, and that was God. It was always a constant in my life. I always sang somewhere. So, I sang at funerals and all that kind of stuff. So no matter how far I would go left, I was still anchored. You know what I mean? So thank God for an anchor because when I could have been completely lost, I never was able to get lost. I might be caught drifting, you know, but because my anchor was still held, I couldn't go far. I couldn't go away. I couldn't get lost, you
mm, that
know.
anchor kept pulling you back.
And I'm telling you, I thank God for my anchor
Mm,
because as it got as it got harder out there, it was easier to come back because it was like you're out here fighting and you don't need to fight.
mhm.
It's like quicksand. When people are in quicksand, you think, okay, I'm gonna fight to get out of here. But really, what you do when you are moving in quicksand is you sink faster,
Yep.
you know. And so it's like you don't realize it because you're really trying to get out of it. And then when I realized I'm trying to do so much, and God is sitting here the whole time, just waiting on me. Like I'm just waiting on you to look up. Like you are down here, you figured it out. You got all this down in the valley. You know worked it out. You know a friend, you know a man to know a man, you got the whole hookup in the valley. But all I need you to do is look up. And God was right there waiting on me. I mean, like, talking about, you know how we say we waiting on God. I'm waiting on God. Oh, child, I'm waiting on God. God was literally like, honey, I am waiting on you. You
Mm.
know, just a thought, just a thought to say I don't belong here. Ah, you know, it's like I tell people all the time. Sometimes you have to have your pig pen moment.
Mm.
You have to, you know, like, you know, especially if you, like I said in the very beginning, I was very privileged in the world's eyes of what privilege looked like. I would have been privileged, you know. So for me to even struggle, it don't sound right. It's not in the same, you know, it's not in the same vibe. My parents made sure that everything was set up so that I would never have to want or struggle in my life. But I made choices. I made decisions. I made things very, very, very hard for me. And when you look back at it, it's like the Bible, you know, that's like, I don't know how to say it, but when I started reading the Bible and started realizing that the people in the Bible were living stories like I was living, it was
Mm-hmm.
easier for me to relate. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
always say the pig pen moment. Like when the prodigal son went and he asked for his birthright, he got his inheritance. And then he went out and he did everything that he was big and bad enough to do. And then one day he found himself in the pig pen, eating the slops with the pig, and they were fighting over slops. And he just realized, I come from greatness.
Yeah.
I don't have to do this. Like, I don't have to be nowhere near any of this. Like, I don't even have to know. And that was like, it, like, you know how they say the epiphany? That was
Uh-huh.
my had a pig pen moment. Like, oh, wait a minute. It says I will. It says I will not be begging. Wait a minute. Like, you know what I mean? It says hold up. It says we live an abundant life. Oh, wait a minute. I'm the head, not the tail. You know, and I realized that one, if you don't know, you'll go with whatever it is that somebody else is giving.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm big on letting kids know who they are, let them express themselves, and wanting them to know early who they are, because that way, a lot of the things that we think would plague them, it wouldn't, because they would never have any they it wouldn't be in their vicinity. You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, what drugs? Oh no, I'm a ball player. You, I don't do drugs. You smoking. Oh, you can't smoke. You know, smoking is bad for you. And you just keep going. And it's not like the peer pressure of it, because then you realize you've already separated, they've already separated themselves from mess, because they already have something in line of, I know this is who I am. And I mean, I, like I said, my parents did it. They did, but they didn't, they that's all I knew when I was growing up. I didn't know any bad. So to me, you couldn't tell me that nothing was bad. You couldn't, I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't that kid. Like, you know, I guess my parents thought, you know, it'd be better off not to know these things. It'd be better off to just know what you need to know who you need to know, and you stay over here and you be fine. And then one day I met somebody on the other side, and I was trying to figure out, well, what they do over there? Well, what they, wow, they look like they having fun over there. And then before you know it, I left everything that I knew and I was over there. And I think when he dropped me off at the church, that's when I had to realize this is over. I didn't even have anyone over there to like hang out with after the fact, because all of my friends were his friends. And, you know, everything that I was doing was affiliated and associated with him. Which then, if you look back at it, it was all like in, if you could do light and dark, it was all in darkness. Everything over there was dark. That's why I am who I am today, because I am the epitome of light and darkness, because I was always there. But bless God for the fact that still to this day, if they knew me from over there, all they remember is that I always had light. I was always different. It was always something different about me. I was there, but it was always something different about A. That's what
Because
they
you
said.
always brought the light to the darkness,
Exactly.
and that's what they knew you from. They didn't know you from the darkness because you was light
In
that
their
went
darkness.
to the darkness, but you
Right.
brought your light there into the darkness.
Yes.
Man, misunderstood.
But didn't know that I was carrying the light until once I figured it all out and was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm the light? Oh, okay. Sitting around people, learning different things. People saying, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I'm thinking, damn, I was a school teacher, but then I
Mm,
got sick. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? So it was like, so what am I gonna do now? All right. Well, I ain't gotta do nothing now because I'm just sick. So what are you supposed to do with that? Like, God, what are you telling me in that? I'm just sick. And then I realized that's what I need to do. Be the best sick that somebody can see. And so that's what I try to do. Try to be the light in darkness. I make crooked things straight. I tell
make
them all, I make crooked things straight. Like if we having a situation, let's figure out the situation. Let's talk about the situation because there's a reason why we're in this situation. If we can
mhm,
get to the focus of why we're in this situation, guess what we won't do? We won't be in this situation anymore, and we will alleviate this situation, and we'll probably make friends in the process.
mm. Facts, facts, facts. So, and I'm gonna assume. So when you were talking earlier, first of all, let me rewind. Man, I'll tell you one thing. I did not know all of the story. Okay. And I'm sure I still don't know all of the story. That right there, I'm like, man. So I'm going to assume that because you said also when you were unpacking a little bit about your mess, about the relationship that you were in that you thought was the relationship. Is that the same relationship you're talking about with the guy that dropped you off at the church? Okay, so it all ties together with that.
Same relationship. We done went through everything from the street to the jail to everything, getting out of jail to trying to live life and everything to be dropped off at the church and say, this ain't working. You need to be here and you don't need to be here. You don't need to be with me. I done put all this years in, I done put all this work in, I done put all this time in and everything, trying to make this look like it's supposed to be this grandiose thing. And it wasn't. And he dropped me off and then let it be known. I'm gonna leave you here and I know you'll be fine. But I'm going back over here and you don't need to come over here.
So did you meet this person? You met this person before you got sick.
Oh yeah, way before I got sick. To the
Got
point where
it.
he didn't even believe that I was sick. Like there, like I said, there's a certain person that wouldn't even allow me to be sick because
Mm-hmm.
they knew me in a certain way, and
Mm-hmm.
they would not let me live that. They would not let me live it down, which is a good thing. But it's not a good thing when I really am sick and I really can't show up for you the same way that I used to.
Used to
And
show up. That's right.
I can't do it. And
Mm-hmm.
even if I wanted to, my body can't do it anymore. So it became different. And all of that played a toll, I believe. Like, because we're still friends to this day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because he even realized, okay, that might not have been the best way to do it. But that was the best way to get me away from that side and over where I
Mm-hmm.
needed to be doing what God was calling me to do. Like, 'cause that was
Right.
as if to say, stop playing with me, stop playing with yourself, stop playing with God, because the devil in me know you got to. And that's what he did. He dropped me off. He dropped me off. Love him today for it because he did. He dropped me right off. I'm gonna leave you right here. Like, you just gonna leave me at the church? Though? Seriously? Like at the church? Yeah. He was like, this is where you belong. Like,
So I
dang.
want to ask this question, and I'm gonna start wrapping up, but I do want to know. So with that, when he dropped you off, today you can say that you see the purpose behind the dropping you off. In that moment, what were you what were you going through? Because we have, in hindsight, we can see what it all was intended for. But in that moment, what did you go through? How'd you feel?
Oh, I was fighting. I was fighting everything. I was fighting everything and everybody. I was mad. I was disappointed. I was let down. I felt lied to. You know what I mean? Like all of the emotions that would go with just turmoil. You know, ready to fight at any given, because what you say, why you say that? Like, you know what I mean? Like who, like I became somebody different because I felt wrong and I
Mhm.
blamed him. I blamed him for years. Like, I'm only like this because of you. You know what I mean? I'm not getting my life together because of you. Because you left me and you should have did this and nah. So for I wouldn't say for about a good 4 or 5 years,
Mhm.
I did nothing but was just mad. I was mad at the world. I was just mad, disappointed. I didn't want to show up. And if I did show up, I didn't give a fuck. Excuse me. I didn't care how I showed up. Do you
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? I
You
was just
good.
out of it. Like it didn't even matter to me because at the end of the day, he don't want me. Nobody want me. You know what? I don't even want me. I'm here. Take me the way that I am. And I realized like that was the worst part of my life because I literally had to realize that it wasn't even his fault. It was my fault. And that he used to always say, why you always, it's always what I did. It's always what I did. I did something to you. I hurt your feelings. I did this. I. And one day he was like, what did you do? What have you ever done? And I just sat there because you never want nobody to ask you nothing. Chuck,
What you do.
what do you mean? I do. I didn't do shit. What you mean? You did it. But that was when I realized I gotta stop lying to myself. You know, one, I deserve better. Two, I am better.
Mm.
And the only way that I'm going to do that is if I demand it from me, and then you wouldn't be able to come at me half-ass.
Mhm.
Got me? If I know
Mhm.
who I am, you can't come at me half-ass because you just not. It's not gonna get far. It's not even gonna. It's not gonna play right because like what you say? And but I want to say it took me about a good 4 or 5 years because I really was. I was like in a blame thing, like it was his
Mhm.
fault. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it was okay for me to be like that. It was the victim. Put it that way. I was the whole victim. Like everyone that said anything to me, the reason why it didn't happen is because you did this and I couldn't do this. The reason why I didn't do it the right way is because you said this and then I did this. You know what I mean? And then I realized I'm a victim. I'm defeated. And I will never be able to show the light in that because I was covered with darkness myself. That's what you know, that's when I realized, okay, I now know that no situation is too strong, no situation is too tough for me to not be able to shine light through, on it, and for it so that someone else can see it in a different light. Because we all go
Right.
through things, but we all
Mhm.
go through, and I still go through things with my MS and everything on a daily basis. But what I also realize is that somebody could be watching and I'm not going through it. Like, all of us always think that whatever we're going through is our thing. Oh, I'm going through this because this is me. Oh, well, it's just hard being me. And it has nothing to do with you. It
Mm.
has nothing to It always had something to do with someone that was close to me that was watching me go through whatever it was I was going through. And that's when I realized, oh God, you is vicious. Like God is nothing to be played with, okay? It's straight up out the box. That's why if you know anything about me, my tag say God got goons. Why? Because God is the only thing. God is the only Only take somebody that has nothing, nobody knows anything about them, give them everything that they need, give them the words to say, give them the doors to go into, say what they want to say. And the only reason why they said all of that to do all of that was just so that somebody in the group could say, that was God. That is cool. I'm sorry. I don't know nobody that's doing it. I'm telling you, still to this day, I don't know anybody that could just come in and alter everything. Talk about change the instance like that, like that. That's God. And I'm one of his favorites. So I put it out there. I tell people any day of the week, whatever you are going through, understand that when you see God in it, then you start to understand why you're going. And then you'll be able
Mm,
to wear it. And then
mm,
once you understand why you're going through what you're going through, it becomes different. Your prayers become different because you kind of say, well, I thank you for that, God, because you know, I actually helped two people in that.
right,
In all of them tears, you thinking you crying and stuff, but somebody else is watching you just keep going.
right, right. You never know who you're impacting with what you're going through, but most importantly, how you handle what you're going through when they're watching you.
That's right.
Well, misunderstood, Adrienne, you have you've helped me at the same time. I'm sure you've helped the listeners and the viewers. Is there anything I know that you have products and I know that you're out there in other platforms. Let the listeners know how can they reach you? How can they hear from you more? What else do you have for them that they can stay in contact with you?
I will say that one for since someone said that they don't do Facebook anymore. I guess we behind the mark. I still have a Facebook page. So if you are a Facebooker and just want to Facebook, we can Facebook. I'm just simply Adrienne Allen. That's with two N's. Adrienne Allen. You see me, I'm a little blonde haired girl smiling at you. It's real simple. I realize there's a lot of us, but it's only one me. I'm the blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus that they lied to you about. That's what I tell people all the time. Just in case you didn't know who I was. Pick the one with the blonde hair. It's me. If you're on TikTok, I'm misunderstood Adrienne. That's MS understood. So of course I have multiple sclerosis, so it's
Mhm.
MS understood Adrienne. That's TikTok and YouTube. I do have a company that is named IMA Industry LLC. IMA Industry is actually in the process of building. The reason why I say that is because I started out and I was just like, I'm going to go to different companies and I'm going to talk to them about customer loyalty. I just like to go in the industries where people feel welcome, right? So this is what I wanted to do. This is what IMA Industry was all about. I think I started my company in January 2000. So that means by March we was all shut down and nobody was going anywhere. And I was like, okay, so I want to go into jobs and people ain't even at work anymore. So what we gonna do? Got
Mhm.
me. So IMA Industry has now been in the reverb process. IMA Industry is exactly what that is. IMA Industry to tell you that you are the industry. You can do whatever it is that you put your mind to. You can, if you say it, you can believe it and you can do it, you can achieve it. And I want to help you do it. That is who I am. That's where we go. Am I the mentor? Am I the coach? No. But I want to tell you how you can do exactly what it is that you need to be doing because that is what you want to do. And I want to
Mhm.
help just give you the goals and the push to be able to get you to the next level. I do
Mhm.
keynotes. I go and I speak to different people. Like if you have a group that you think that just needs to have a spark lit, like someone told me the other day, you're like fire on gasoline, girl. And I'm thinking, well, as long as ain't nobody get burned,
people
But
need
if
to
I
get
was,
burnt.
you know what I mean? If I was there to light you up, then that's good. And that's what the lady said. She said, well, some of them needed to be burnt. I said, well,
Mhm.
amen to some of them needing to be burnt. Because in the world that we live in today, we've gotten so complacent in a lot of
Mhm.
things that we do. I think what I am is just the shaker upper, you know,
Mhm.
knock the dust off of you to say, you know what, I used to be like that. I could do that again. And that's it. And then what we then become are the examples that our children need to see. Because right
Mhm.
now our kids are messed up because we aren't messed up. That's why our kids
Mm.
are. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like most of us have did our mess ups, but now we're cleaned up. And because we're cleaned up, we don't talk about our mess ups. So therefore we are cleaned up and our kids are messed up because they're trying to figure out, well, where is the common, like we don't have no community in between us. Like there's no common unity in between old and young. Like these looking at them like, yeah, she don't even curse. You know, like I remember the day that I heard the deaconess curse at church. It was like, oh, she said shit. And it was like, and then my mom was looking like she cusses like a sailor. I'm like, she does? Like you would never like you would never think that she does. But that is like that's who I am. That's the epitome of breaking divides. There's no
Mhm.
such thing as you can't be in a room because you don't know them. Go in there and meet them. That's who I
Mhm.
am. Yep. Let's go in there and meet them. If you don't think that they like you, like racism, to me, I believe that racism doesn't even exist. I just believe that you don't know me.
Mm.
I'm sorry. These black people that you think that you know, these are the people that they see on TV. These black people that you think that you know, these are the people that you see on the news. I'm this black girl that's standing in front of your face and you will know me. After that, I don't think that you'll have a problem. Then you'll be able to say, I do have a black friend. You know what I mean? But it's that simple. Because and it's vice versa. Vice versa. It's not just black and white, it's white and black. Everybody has this thing. If I don't know that part of it, I don't know anything about it. And I don't want to know
That's
anything about
right.
it. And that's
That's
where we're
right.
failing. That's where we're failing. So that is who I am. I'm the person that's standing on the other side of the room and you want to get over there, but you don't know how to get over there. But then you see me. Come on over. Look, come
Mhm.
on over. That is who I am. I'm that light in darkness. Wherever you think that is not supposed to be, I'm right there. I'm known to
Mhm.
be on the bar stool. You know, real rap. I have to tell people that because you know people are alcoholics and stuff thinking that they're running from God. Do you think we're not coming in a bar to come get you? Oh no.
Hmm.
We show up. We go to bars, we go to strip clubs, we go everywhere and anywhere that there is darkness because wherever there is darkness, there is light that is need to be shown.
Mm.
That is who I am.
Yes.
That is who I am. So if you can't get me any other kind of way, look, only for your people, you can text me 267-588-7862. But when you text me, you got to text, hey girl,
Hey, girl.
hey girl, you know what's up. Hey girl, just need something, and we right on it. That's who I am.
Okay.
I'm that friend. I'm the light in darkness, that friend when you don't have anybody else to talk to. Or if you about to smack that chick in her face, text my phone. Hey girl, that way we can handle it before you even
Before
go
you do
anywhere. Right. Because you can't be doing it. Even if you want to kill someone, I am your girl. Call me before you want to kill them because we can kill them 3, 4 different ways and you never have to touch them. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That is what
Hey,
you know.
hey.
You
Call if you
understand?
need
Like
that
this.
help. Text if you need that help. Hey, girl.
Hey girl, holla at the girl because when people realize that where's a place that you can actually process your feelings, the
Yep.
world would be in a better place. Because half of the
That is
people
right.
are reacting to what's going on, and that's because they don't have any place to process their feelings.
That-
I am
That's
her
right.
misunderstood agent.
What about you said you're an author.
Oh, child, we listen. Surviving tough times. on your March, Get Set, Go. This is my book, y'all. We are redoing this book. Why are we redoing this book? Because I realize, one, half the people in the world ain't gonna read the book. Let's be honest. Gotta be honest now, because half the people didn't read the first book, you know? So they like, oh yeah, girl, I got your book. Never opened it. Never opened it. Like I had $100 sitting in the beginning of the book, and ain't nobody called me and say, thank you for my $100. Because they never opened it.
Hmm.
So what are we doing with surviving tough times on your March, Get Set, Go? You will see it, because when you see something says on your March, Get Set, Go, that's the call. The call is for everyone. That is a 30-day journey with you and God, just so that you can recenter, recalibrate, and understand why you are the way that you are. Your good days, your bad days, everything that happens to you makes you who you are. When you can start to understand that, then you appreciate the next man, because then you'll say, you know what? They are exactly who they're supposed to be. They're in the exact place where they're supposed to be. And then we can work together, because that's the
Hmm.
thing. We got to come together. How am I going to come together with my thoughts and your thoughts, and you ain't never wrote your thoughts down?
Hmm.
They're not your thoughts.
Hmm.
They're my thoughts now. I've now given you my thoughts, and now my thoughts have become your thoughts. And then when we in the process of doing it, sooner or later, you're going to feel some type of way, because they're not really your thoughts.
Hmm.
That's what surviving tough times is all about. Putting
Okay.
you in the same aspect of everybody else, but giving you your time to understand who you are and why God made you the way that you are. Then you show up at the table right.
Hmm.
Use you. Look, we can use you then. Until then, we can't really use
So to summarize this message,
you.
you I'm just gonna start with you. You were part of the exotic entertainment industry. You got sick, you had MS. You went through a relationship that turned out not to be the best relationship for you. You you overcame all those situations. You are now an author, CEO of your own company, doing motivational, professional speaking, helping others to overcome their situations. What would be one of the last things you would tell the listeners today, for what they can do so that they can overcome and they can get through the mess that they may be going through today?
Tell the truth.
Ooh.
When you look in the mirror, tell the truth, or listen to your reflection. Tell the truth and listen to your reflection. That's the only thing you need to do. Because once you start to tell the truth, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's happy or sad, it's you. And as long as you can understand that it's you still got a shot. Tell the truth. As long as you're lying, you don't be able to see the truth. So therefore, each day goes by, and then you have nothing to stand on but a lie. You don't want to be that person, because before you know it, you'll have years and years and years of nothing but lies. And then when you look in the mirror, you don't even know who you are. So tell the truth. If you messed up, tell the truth. It's okay to be messed up. Like, we're not always going to be great, but we are going to be who we are. God has allowed every one of us to be exactly who we are, be exactly where we need to be, because we don't stay there. But the sooner you realize that that is where you are, then it's easier for God to step in your life and do something different. So if I was to say anything about your mess, tell the truth. Don't cover it up. And if you need help, reach out and grab it, because it is there.
Well, I want to thank you, Misunderstood Adrienne. And as we end for today, like I always like to say, if you want to stay sad, live in the past. If you want to stay worried and anxious, think about the future. If you want to be happy, Live in the present day and be grateful for the things that you have. This is Tracy D. Armstrong with your What's Your Mess? Have a good day, y'all.